All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Take Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson, and I got Jeremiah Kincaid on once again
Thank you again for having
for
me.
an episode of UFC Boxing Talk number 2. This is the second one we're doing. Before we get into this episode, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and then like the video, and leave a comment and share this video with anybody that may not know who we are or what kind of takes we're going to be bringing to the table. And then I'm going to pop my social medias up on the screen. I got TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. All those will be on the screen, Facebook. So make sure to go follow those. All those will be in the description. And then the audio only version will be available once again on Spotify. So that'll be in the description as well. So now I got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and get into this episode. I'm going to first start out with my take of the day. It's a pretty simple one, to be honest. I think Jon Jones is going to beat Francis Ngannou. When that fight does happen next year, I just think Jon Jones is, first of all, when he was back in the UFC, when he was a light heavyweight, he had to cut a lot of weight to get down to 205, and he was a natural 230, 240. And I think him staying at a very heavy weight will play in his favor a lot more, and he'll be able to take advantage of that a little bit more. And Francis is coming off 2 pretty intense knee surgeries, ACL and MCL injuries. So, I mean, who knows if he'll be the same. He might be a little bit different athletically. I don't know if he's going to be able to throw John on the ground like he did with Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot to kind of look at with that fight, but I think Jon Jones is going to win that fight.
But how? How is he going to win, do you think?
Well, he's just going to kick him and elbow him in the face. That's exactly what he's going to do.
So you think it's going to be a knockout?
I mean, I think whoever wins, it's going to be knockout. If you think Francis is going to win, I think he's going to win by knockout. If you think Jon Jones is going to win, it's going to be by knockout because both of these guys have knockout power. The only reason I say Jon Jones is going to win because Cyril Gane and him are very similar fighters, except Jon Jones is a lot bigger and he's more talented, and he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
we discussed that on our last podcast that we did together. I do think Jon Jones is going to win. The thing is, I don't think it's going to be by knockout. I think it's going to be by decision. Francis is such a big guy. And, of course, like his knockout power is one of the most devastating in the UFC. But I think it will go to decision. Just like the Jon Jones and Alexander
Gustav.
So
Yeah, that was a crazy fight.
I think it's going to be very similar to that, where it's going to be a good fight, but it's still going to go to decision.
Do you know the thing about that fight with that is that Jon Jones, he didn't even train for that fight.
Yeah.
The second time he trained and he just absolutely demolished him.
Mhm.
But the first time he didn't even train.
Yeah,
Like, guys, just think about that for a
that's
second.
crazy.
Imagine not training for a fight.
Yeah.
Like all these UFC fighters, they train 3-4 months before a fight.
Mhm.
Imagine not training. Imagine just hitting the pads like once or twice a day and then going and partying. That's exactly what Jon Jones was doing, and he still wins.
He's a party animal, man.
Bro, like this guy, like
down.
he took, especially with the fights with him and DC, like they were just, those press conferences were so funny because DC would just like get really mad at him, and then Jon Jones would be like, well, I was on coke that weekend. He would just kind of like say it like so casually. You're just like, dang, man, like he still wins.
Well, you know what the best fight he was in, right? The police car hood fight he had. That was the best fight.
Honestly, like
That
no
was
jokes
probably
aside,
that was the biggest L.
probably the saddest thing I've ever seen
that was bad.
from him.
That was a downward spiral for him.
Honestly, looking back on that, I'm really surprised I'm even talking about a Francis Jon Jones fight.
Yeah.
Because like after he was done in the UFC and he tested positive for coke once again, I thought he was done.
Yeah.
I thought his career was absolutely over. There's no way this guy's going to fight again. No way Dana's going to let him fight again. But he's cleaned his act together and he's put up training, and he's training now. He's lifting weights. He's getting bigger. He seems like he's taking it seriously, and he seems ready. And the thing about Jon Jones was he was supposed to fight in December against Stipe, but apparently Stipe didn't want to sign the contract.
Mhm.
I don't know if Stipe was not getting enough money or what was going on there, but I wanted to see that too because that was a good tune-up fight
Yeah.
for Jon as well.
Yeah, it would have been, and it really would have helped with this, because I think Francis is just, it's going to be a different animal whenever these two like step toe to toe. It's going to be I think this is going to be an opponent that Jon Jones hasn't really faced before.
I mean, he's very different.
He is.
He's very different.
He
I mean,
is.
he's just, you don't see guys Francis's size with his kind of speed and knockout power. Like you see like guys like Tai Tuivasa who are just absolutely ginormous guys, but they don't have great movement.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between these heavyweights now. The main difference for me, what I'm trying to say is the difference between heavyweights and heavyweight champions is heavyweight champions seem to have a lot better movement.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of the main difference. But there's another fight that, first of all, both of these guys are fantastic at moving.
Oh,
we got
for sure.
Volkanovski, who's probably the hardest guy in the UFC to hit right now. And then you got Makhachev, who is Khabib 2.0. I mean, he just won the championship against, God, man, I honestly kind of forget.
Islam?
Yeah, Charles Oliveira.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Charles
God,
Oliveira.
I don't know why I blanked there. Yeah, but he just beat Charles Oliveira, and man, that Volkanovski is going to be a step for him.
So how do you think this fight's going to go down?
I mean, honestly, kind of thinking about it, I thought Islam was going to maul him at first, but then I kind of went back and watched Volkanovski fight a little bit more and takedown defense. He's a small guy. I mean, it's just going to be so easy for get out of that.
So underrated though in the UFC. Every single fight, people say, okay, he's going to lose. He's going to lose. He's going to lose.
Now I do think he's going to lose this fight.
He's not going to lose this fight. He's not losing this fight. I'll tell you that much right now.
He definitely has a chance to win, but I don't think he's going to win.
He's definitely going to win for sure. I always like to think about when he was fighting Brian Ortega, when Brian Ortega put him in 2 different submissions in 3 minutes, and he got out of it. The man's nickname is T-City. Triangle choke. Like, that is his specialty. And he got out of the guy who was taught by the Gracies, okay? Twice in the same round. Like, he is going to... I don't know if it's going to be a knockout. I don't know if it's going to be a submission.
I definitely don't think there's going to be a knockout in this fight. I can confidently say that. Because none of these guys are knockout guys.
I could see it going to decision. But, I mean, the only way I can see a knockout, and like, let's say that Volk does lose, it would be with Makhachev tiring him out with wrestling and then just ground and pounds. That I could see if he did win, if Makhachev did win, that would be how he wins.
Because in my opinion, I just looking at this fight, I think McGregor Khabib 2.0. I don't know why. I mean, Volkanovski's he's similar to McGregor, but he's not the same like reach. That's the only difference. But I just feel like that this fight has that same kind of magnitude where it's going to change the sport again. Because like that fight changed the UFC.
Yeah, that fight did change the UFC. I don't know if it's going to have that much of an impact. It's going to be a big fight though. It's going to be a huge fight. But
I mean, Volk has a chance to be a double weight class champion for this fight. So he's got a lot. He's got a lot going. He's got a lot that he could lose in this fight.
He does, and it is 2 champions. You know, it's going to be a big fight. But I think with like McGregor, a lot of people got put on the UFC because of McGregor, and he's fighting a guy that's undefeated. With this, it's a little different, but in a way, I can understand that comparison, how it is a Khabib Conor 2.0. There's some differences, but this is Khabib's protege. This is 2.0 Khabib. And like it's going to be like really exciting to see him fight, throughout his whole career, because I think it's going to be extremely similar to Khabib. And who knows, he might have a better legacy by the end of it. Who knows?
Do you think the trash talking between Volk and Islam is going to be... Do you think it's going to be that intense?
No. I don't think so.
You don't think there's going to be that much?
Islam is not. I feel like he's not really that much of a trash talker. And I think Volkanovski, if he were to say something, it'd be to kind of hype up the fight a little bit. But he's not, he's there to fight. He's not there to try to get in your head. He's there to fight. So
yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. That's going to be candidate for fight of the year. But 2023 is just going to be absolutely stacked. Yeah. Another fight of the year candidate for me is Usman versus Edwards. Now that, in Wembley Stadium,
that's gonna be a good fight.
That's gonna be
a crazy fight.
Man.
He's got that home court advantage, and
Usman's gonna be coming for revenge, bro. He's gonna be coming for revenge.
But they are on Edwards' home turf, so this is gonna be a lot of pressure for Usman too, and especially since he lost to him already. Usman's at the top of his game before this loss.
Yeah, everyone thought he's gonna be literally unbeatable.
Yeah.
No one thought anyone could touch this guy.
No.
They thought he was on a different playing field than everybody else, and then Edwards just like that kick, man. Like
that was a lucky kick.
Came out of nowhere.
That was kind of a lucky kick.
You think that was a lucky kick?
Yeah.
But like that's just good execution, you know. If you
is.
think about it, like it's nothing is lucky in this sport.
No.
Things happen.
Yeah.
Things happen. Like Usman was winning that fight, of course, but you got 55 seconds left. And Usman just let his guard down just a little bit.
And he did
just a little bit.
He did lean into it a little bit.
He fell for the bait.
Yeah.
And I heard Usman talk about it on the Joe Rogan podcast. He said, "Yeah, I just kind of didn't see it coming."
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting, like kind of looking at, knockouts in general, because when he was on the ground, he completely froze. His body was like, his arm was in a weird way, like he was looking at the lights, like looked like he was dozing off and saw butterflies. Like that's like he described it as he said he was on the mat and then he woke up in the ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
that's
insane, man.
Yeah. Side note: have you ever seen that video of the Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker fight after the fight?
No, I don't know if I've seen that.
Messed up. Dustin Poirier tried to talk to him, and like Dan Hooker was like, "I gotta go."
Did he cave his face in with like elbows or something like that?
Yeah, Dustin's such a good. It's a little off topic, but Dustin's such a good fighter too, like a good boxer. It's kind of weird his style, like watching him. It's a little weird, but it still works. He's still a great boxer. So, but they reminded me of that fight. And then after the fight, they recorded like Dan Hooker, and they wanted him to sit for an interview, and he was just like, "I gotta go." Like,
what did you think of that Michael Chandler and Poirier fight? That was crazy.
That was a really great fight, and I think it'd be. There's been some really good fights this year, but I think it's like top 5 fights.
Like that was crazy because like there were points in that fight where I thought Dustin was gonna lose.
Oh well, so I don't know if you saw this, but did you see how Chandler was on top, right? Dustin was on the ground, and like just blood.
I did. I actually saw that. That's very funny you bring that up. I saw that picture on Instagram today.
Yeah.
Like Poirier posted it on his like Instagram page, and I was like, "Dang, first of all, that's a cool photo."
Yeah.
But second of all, that's you just know like how brutal of a fight that is.
You think that was intentional though?
I mean, I do because like he was fish hooking him a lot, and he did bring it up to the ref. Like you could clearly see it.
Yeah,
he was fish hooking him.
Yeah,
if you look at it in slow motion, I mean, you can clearly see he's fish hooking him. And I'm gonna put this on the screen, you guys, because if you guys think that wasn't a fish hook, you're absolutely out of your mind. Yeah. Like it was, and what would they do in that situation? What would the ref do if are they going to dock him points for that? Like, what do they exactly do in that situation?
I mean, the warning, but I don't know what you do after that. I guess you would have to dock points, especially that being like, because that's not legal in the first place, but like bloody, like that's not, that's no. Kind of like,
that's dirty.
Health concern type thing,
Yeah, because he could have easily like opened that part of it, split his
that could be like an infection or something.
That's like bad, bro.
Yeah,
like,
so
that's like a serious injury. But Michael Chandler, bro, I really thought he was gonna win that fight. He had so many chances to finish Poirier, and Poirier is just such a tough guy. He's so good on the ground. First of all, Poirier's jiu-jitsu is fantastic in that fight. That's honestly what kept him alive. In my opinion.
Yeah.
If he didn't have great jiu-jitsu, he would have lost.
Yeah.
100%.
I do love watching like Michael Chandler fight because he's such an entertaining fighter, but he's also a lot smaller than his opponents. But he's still able to, dominate in some areas. Like I love watching him fight.
His wrestling is fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a very underrated
striking
wrestler
too, though.
Yeah, he's very good all around, and his kicking is. Wait, I'm sorry. Tony Ferguson turned into a chicken nugget when he kicked him in the face. Seriously, it was that bad.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Man, I love his fighting. I love it.
What do you think of a Chandler McGregor fight? Because I heard him talking about that. He said that would be the most entertaining fight in the UFC. I think
that'd sell. I think that'd sell well, especially that being McGregor's first time back. I think he's actually a good opponent, especially coming after a loss. Both coming off of a loss from Dustin Poirier. I think it's a really good fight for both. But speaking of Connor, I don't know if you saw this, but I watched a video the other day, and Connor had I guess he had some court issues. He was at the court. He does not look like he was like a year ago, 2 years ago. He looked so different that I had to go through the comments to see if he was like actually Conor McGregor. Like his like face just like looks so weird.
What do you mean? Like, is he like? Because like we know he gained weight, but it's not
this
that.
is weird. No, because he's like a chiseled jaw, but it looks weird. I don't know.
I don't know if I've seen pictures of that. I mean, I might need to flash a picture of that on the screen because I really don't know what's going on.
He doesn't. I mean, he looks. It's normal, but like he doesn't look like Conor McGregor. It's weird.
I know he's going through a lot, and it's funny you bring up the court. Is that he is going through a lot of legal stuff right now. I don't know if I really want to get into that exactly. I just know it's something like supposedly he beat this girl or whatever. Like she had like bruise marks on her face or bruise marks on her ribs or something like that. I don't know what's going on, but a comeback for him just it doesn't seem as likely as I would like it to be. And it's a little frustrating because I am a McGregor fan and I've been dying to see him fight. And as all of you guys watching want to see him fight, he's been out of the fight game for so long.
Yeah.
And it just seems like he's joking around, going out partying every night. Like I saw a video of him holding up his like old UFC belt. He was like at a club and like, I don't know exactly where he was, but I mean, and he's getting like docked for public intoxication too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's he just doesn't seem focused like he was at the beginning of this year where he's like, I'm ready to come back. I'm hungry. He just seems like he's kind of changed. His attitude's changed a little bit. I mean, he's got money. Like he doesn't need to fight.
Yeah.
He does not. He doesn't need to come back, but he wants to because that's his image and he's having a hard time giving that up. That's why I feel like he wants to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. And if he does return, which, he will be, most likely, I think Chandler fight would be overall the best fight he could get. And I definitely don't think he should fight, someone like Oliveira.
No,
he shouldn't fight someone like just someone who.
If he fought Makhachev, that would be. I would honestly be scared to watch that because I'd be like,
but he'd be getting flashbacks. He'd be
getting
like
your career is over, Connor. Like you really want Khabib's protege to end you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That'd be stupid by him too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that'd just be a dumb fight. Like he needs to be smart about it.
He does. He does. He has to be smart about who he fights. And that's what we love to see when Connor doesn't care who he fights next. Like just bring him on. But he needs to be smart. If he wants to continue his UFC career for a little bit longer, he needs to choose wisely who to fight. Not fight someone easy, but
like fight someone that has a chance to win against.
Yeah,
in a sense.
And of course a good fight, like I think Michael Chandler would be the best.
That'd be perfect. That'd be perfect
fight for the first time returning.
I think either that or Paddy Pimblett would be a perfect fight. That would be one of those two. Because those would sell pay-per-views, and Dana knows that.
I think Paddy needs a little bit more experience.
Well, he is fighting in December on this main card, which, by the way, like Glover Teixeira and the light heavyweight champions like Jerry Procanza. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but he like withdrew or whatever. Pimblett's on that card, so that's a big opportunity for him at the end of the year to be on a main card like that. Mm-hmm. He's got a showcase. It's kind of like him and O'Malley I feel like he's in a very similar situation that O'Malley was in when he was fighting Jan.
Yeah.
Because when he was fighting Jan, that was a very big fight for him. He had a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And we really didn't know if he was going to shine in the bright lights. And he did, which, by the way, let's talk about that fight. I don't think O'Malley won that fight. I don't think so. I don't think it was definitive enough. Honestly, I think they should have called that fight a draw. They should have. They definitely should have. They definitely shouldn't have given it to him split decision. That was absurd, bro.
That was a hard thing to watch because not the fight. The fight was a good fight.
That was amazing. It's an amazing fight,
but I don't know. I think Peter Yan got robbed a little bit because I'm not saying that Peter Yan won, but it definitely at least should have been a draw because it was so close. And if you're trying to analyze it and you're trying to score it, you have to do it in the most minute detail to be able to score it correctly because they both dealt the same damage. They both were pretty accurate with their shots. They both shot a good amount of times that was pretty similar to each other. It was they both did enough damage to each other. It was so close. I don't see how watching it once, it's hard.
When I first watched it live, I thought O'Malley won. But when I went back in the highlights and watched it, I thought Jan won 100%. But then I'm like, watched it a third time, and I'm like,
exactly.
I don't know. It's just, I think it should have been a draw. I mean, it was just way too close. Like, first of all, who was scoring that fight? Because I'm going to look that up later. Like, who was scoring that?
Yeah.
Because I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
So how do you take into account the supposedly takedowns that Jan did have, but O'Malley got up every single time? Do you count those as real takedowns, or do you kind of dock that a little bit? Because my opinion, I feel like that's what the people who were scoring this fight docked Jan on, was those takedowns. I don't think they really counted them in a sense.
Yeah, but O'Malley was still down, you know?
But he got up right away every time.
But for me, if I was a judge, it'd still be considered a takedown. Now, of course, I don't know but that's one of those things. It's like
it's just interesting.
It's too close.
It's just interesting looking back on that fight because, first of all, there has to be a second fight.
Yeah,
there has to be a second one.
For sure.
And I know they will make a second one for that. Do you think that should be a main event? That second fight?
No.
No.
No, I think it should be on. I don't know. I think it shouldn't be in the prelims, but I think where it was prior, like that first fight of the main event, but not the main event. You know, the last fight of the night.
I don't think that O'Malley should get a shot against Sterling yet.
No,
not quite.
No,
because I think Sterling wins. I love O'Malley. He's a great striker. He reminds me a lot of McGregor, what he used to do. But, I mean, Sterling's just so good on the ground, and he gets you in that triangle, you're done, man. Yeah. You saw what happened to Peter Yan when great striker, but as soon as you get Sterling on the ground, Yan goes down with him. Jan's like, uh-oh. He was in some deep trouble.
Yeah.
Like, he had him in a leg triangle over his abdomen.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not doing anything on that.
No.
Nothing. And the thing is, he's not taking any damage, but he can't get up from that.
Yeah.
So he's very, very limited. So he's just throwing back elbows or throwing some weak back punches. He's not able to really do any damage.
Yeah.
Honestly, Sterling, I think he'll be champion for a very long time.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, man.
Insane, man. He's so good. Just the way he handles himself on the ground. And in his last fight, man, he messed him up.
Mm-hmm.
Bad. Like, it was bad. And I didn't think Sterling could strike like that.
Yeah.
I was like his first fight against Young was very controversial because, you know, the illegal knee to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, no one thought, oh, he shouldn't be champion. Now, there's no question.
Oh, yeah.
He is definitely proven to be champion.
Mm-hmm.
And you see guys like Volkanovski, Sterling, when they become champion, they just get better and better.
They stay there.
Now, some guys aren't like that.
Yeah.
But those two guys specifically, they just get better and better and better each and every time. And I know Edwards is champion right now, but he's not going to get better and better.
So you don't think he's going to be the same?
I think he's going to be the exact same. And I think he is going to be, you know, enjoying his championship belt as he has been, because he is the first guy from England to ever win a UFC belt.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of enjoying his time being champion. But Usman, he's going to be a scary dude that night. I'm telling you right now, that fight is going to be knockout. Usman is going to win by knockout.
He's going to be wanting blood. He's going to be hungry.
He's going to be, and it's, you know, it's a perfect environment for him to get revenge. Wembley Stadium, not in his country, fighting to get the belt back
in front of all of his people.
In front of 90,000 people.
Yeah. British
that
people.
Is going to be a big audience for that. And that's going to, honestly, like, that could be fight of the year. That just the magnitude of that rematch, I just don't see Usman losing that. I just can't. I just can't.
I don't see it either.
I don't see him losing that.
No.
But there's just there's so many other good fights this year.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You gotta touch on you got to touch on Chimaev a little bit. Khamzat Chimaev. He wants a title shot with Pereira, but I just don't know how realistic that is right out of the gate. You got to win against a couple good guys in your weight class first, which is welterweight, which I think Covington's a great start for that. I think he's going to ragdoll Covington.
I don't think he's going to ragdoll him. I don't know if he I don't know. Like, Chimaev is so good on the ground. He's so aggressive and he's so fast. That's what I'm saying. I smash everybody. But the thing is, like, Covington, bro, he's a veteran. Like, he stood toe to toe with Usman, who is a great wrestler.
Did he go to decision with him twice, or because I know they fought twice, but I don't.
No, Usman won the second one.
Did they go to decision though? Both times?
I don't know. I know Usman won once.
Because Covington was interim champion for a little bit, and that's when it kind of started building up, and he was like talking a lot of crap to him. Covington, but man, that's going to be a trash talking.
Oh, that's going to be good.
That's going to be crazy trash talk.
That's going to be good.
Him and Khamzat are
yeah.
Have you heard have you heard Covington? He's like, cum shot. He like call him that during, like, I guarantee he's going to say that a few times.
Yeah.
He's like said that on like Instagram a few times. It's kind of funny.
I mean, oh man, I really hope to see that fight though. I really hope to see that fight. I will.
Well, it's happening.
I know. I'm excited for it, but I'm just trying to think. I don't know who I would take, man. It's really close. You know, I mean, I wouldn't put money on anything, but I'm gonna say Covington. I think he's gonna get a run for his money.
I'm taking Chimaev because I'm gonna disagree with that. I'm taking Chimaev because you know, I think his striking is going to be better. Now against Gilbert Burns, I did think his striking was going to be a lot better than it was, and he was in some deep trouble with. Well, Gilbert Burns is a veteran. I mean, he's been around in the sport for a long time, but I think Chimaev's going to be a lot better than that. But I don't think welterweight is Chimaev's natural weight class because he's really had some trouble making weight. True. His last fight that was a big missed opportunity for him, is not fighting Diaz.
Yeah.
Even though I think he would have dominated Diaz, I still think that was a big missed opportunity because you miss weight by 8 pounds. In a really big box office fight like that, you just killed it.
Yeah.
You just killed everything. And then you got a Tony Ferguson main event. Like that was the worst card of the year, guys.
That was
an abysmal card.
That was not worth it.
Like, you don't have anybody. I mean, I'm not saying anybody was not good on that card, but no good competitive fights.
No.
Chimaev dominated Kevin Holland. And then, you know, Nate Diaz was just joking around during that fight. So that wasn't even entertaining. Yeah,
I think we talked about this too, but he was just like resting on the fence during the round, like. And
then he was like, he kind of had his hands down. He was like pointing at him, like walking back. And then he had I remember he would like put his hands on his knees and like he was like gasping for air or something. Like he was like tired.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it is his last fight. Do whatever you want.
But like, go out with some class.
Yeah, but like, make it entertaining. Like, I'm not entertained when you're resting on a fence.
Like, remember, he went toe to toe with Leon Edwards. He almost came back and beat him. And that's just not the Nate Diaz I remember. The guy who's got heart, tenacity, goes out and puts everything in the octagon. And I just don't think he really did. Especially in that camp. I don't think he really trained much.
No, but I'm not going to lie. I've never been like a big Nate Diaz fan.
No, I mean, he's just a big name, and he hasn't really had, like, he wasn't a championship fighter.
Yeah, and I can see why people do, but he just never appealed to me. So I've tried to, like, I've watched his fights, and yeah, I'll, like, watch him, but, like, or I would have, you know, watched him back then when he was fighting, but I don't know. He just didn't really stick out to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I liked him because of his trash talking.
Yeah, good trash.
That was the main reason.
When him and Connor were going at it,
yeah, when they were throwing water bottles at each other at the press conference.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was great. That was funny.
That was.
And I remember
funny.
when like Diaz was saying in the press conference, like to Connor, he's like, "You do steroids," and Connor's like, "I don't. I'm so against that." But like, I think Connor's doing steroids now.
I think he's doing now. Yeah, especially after we showed the picture. Yeah,
he looks too jacked for me.
He looks jacked. He just doesn't look right.
He doesn't look natural at all.
No.
Like, he's got veins popping out of his shoulders. When he was in his prime at featherweight, you never saw a vein pop out of his shoulder.
No.
there's no way that's naturally clean cut.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
But somebody who I do think is on steroids though, and this is boxing, Mr. Jake Paul. First of all, I'm going to show you this. Guys, I posted a TikTok about this, and I just want you to see this for yourself. I just want you to see this for yourself.
This is my first time reaction.
I'm going to have the clip on the screen, but just watch this.
Jake Paul boxing matches have been super entertaining, but they are obviously rigged, and there is no better example of this than his last fight against Anderson Silva, where it's clear from this angle that his punch...
Look at that. It completely missed him, dude. And he goes down? Like, are you serious?
Let me see it one more time. One more time.
Are you serious?
One more time. One more time.
You can't tell me that's at least a suspicion that it's rigged. At least a suspicion, man.
Hang on. Sorry, I gotta watch it one more time.
It's got to be a suspicion. I'm not trying to be a Jake Paul hater, guys, but I'm just saying.
But
I mean, look at it.
I don't see Anderson Silva doing that.
But like, understand, like, if I do that, and then you go flying off this chair, that makes no sense. That's how I'm gonna compare it to.
But okay. If Anderson like would have like fell straight to the ground, tongue sticking out of his mouth, about to lose a pulse, then I'd be like, okay, that's a little rigged. But he did kind of just get back up. I'm
not trying to illegitimize Jake Paul, but they don't drug test before his fights, which is something they should be doing.
They should be doing that.
They should be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not. That it looks like Jake Paul. I applaud what he's doing for the sport. He's working very hard. He's training with some of the best trainers in the world. He has his own promotional team now, and I want to touch on his promotional team as well.
Yeah,
I think that's great. I love what he's doing with that, but he shouldn't be promoting his own fights from now on because they didn't sell as many pay-per-views as they're supposed to.
Yeah.
He said they were supposed to sell 800,000 pay-per-views for that Anderson Jake Paul fight, and they sold 200,000.
That's a big difference.
You go 600,000 short?
Yeah.
Like, bro, and that wasn't even the last. That's not even like counting. Tyron Woodley in that second fight with Tyron Woodley, they sold 60,000 pay-per-views.
Yeah.
That is horrendous.
Yeah.
That is actually terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and think about this. The first time he fought Tyron Woodley, they sold like 800,000, 900,000 pay-per-views.
Yeah.
But before that, he was fighting on Trill, which, first of all, he wasn't the main card on those, but he wasn't promoting those, and they sold 1.52 million pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he just needs to kind of back off a little bit.
I think it would be smarter. Yeah.
Especially when he goes and fights Tommy Fury, he's not going to be fighting under MVP Promotions. He's going to be fighting on Clash of Titans.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what's going to happen because Tommy wants that fight bad. But
so who do you think is going to win that then? Are you going to hear my take?
I want to hear your opinion first. I got to think about it for a second because like that's so close to me.
I think this is another one. I think it's going to go to decision. Jake Paul.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that.
Jake Paul.
But I'm gonna say that if he doesn't win, his boxing career is over.
Jake Paul's?
Yeah. Because he's got to be a boxer.
Yeah.
If he's gonna sit
That's
here
true.
and say, I'm a professional boxer, and first of all, he hasn't fought any boxers. He's been fighting MMA guys and all these YouTube guys that like, and the Andrew Tate fight, I know that's gonna sell a lot, but
if it happens, I don't think it's confirmed yet.
I just don't think he should do that for the sake of his boxing career. Now, if he wants to do that to make money,
yeah,
go ahead, go for it. That is a genius idea. But if you want to continue to further your boxing career, and he says he wants to be a world champion, that's not going to put you in that direction.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, and I think there's a little bit of a difference. I think it won't be over for his career if he loses to Tommy, if it is by decision. If he doesn't get knocked down, and if he doesn't get knocked out. If he does, then yes. But I'll be one to admit it. When Jake Paul first started boxing, I hated him. Every fight, the first couple fights, I just hoped like someone would just mess him up, and he would just have this little dream go away. But I've seen him. I've seen him fight now. I've seen him.
I mean, he can definitely
improve.
crack. He can crack.
Yeah. So, I honestly think people need to give him more respect than he deserves, or than what he gets. I'm sorry. He needs more respect than what he gets.
Exactly.
Because people still consider him a YouTuber. They still consider him, but he is literally doing this every day. He has the money for the best trainers. He's a boxer. He's a boxer.
I know he's gotta fight a boxer first, but Anderson Silva is definitely a good step.
Yes, that was a very good step.
That was a good step.
That was a very
and
good
I know
step.
I showed him that video. That I'm not saying that it is rigged, just to let you guys know. I'm not saying that fight is rigged.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there. But definitely brings up some suspicions for me, at least.
Yeah.
Because people, especially Hasim Rahman Jr., he's talked about there was a no knockout clause in the contract. He's talked about. How do you
prove that? How do you prove that?
I mean, he can say it. You don't know if he's lying or not. But until hasn't been actual proof of that, so I'm just gonna say that's not true. That's just a rumor. All these rigged fight stuff, all these no knockout clauses, are all rumors until proven true. Which none of them have been proven true. I'm just speculating like everybody else. I'm just wondering like, okay, what's going on? But we're not gonna really know if those rumors are true or not until he fights a boxer, because a professional boxer is not gonna take none of that.
No.
None of that.
Tommy Fury wouldn't.
Especially Tommy Fury, from his bloodline. I mean, for crying out loud, his brother is the heavyweight champion of the world. In my opinion, I think he's the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time.
Yeah.
Just movement wise, just the way he's so big. He's 6'8", and he's a massive dude. Like, this guy is huge, and he moves like he's a middleweight boxer.
Yeah.
Like, that's absurd. You never see that from somebody
light
that
on
size.
his feet,
So light on his feet.
Yeah. Yeah, and with Tommy, I don't know. It's gonna be a good fight. I think it will go to decision though.
But Tommy, I feel he wants to be world champion, but he's fighting on an undercard of Deji and Floyd Mayweather. Like, guys, like, he's a Fury. He should not be fighting on that undercard,
That
bro.
makes me want to throw up right now.
Are you serious?
It makes me literally want to throw up right now.
Bro, like, that's just funny, man.
Let me talk about Deji. I think him fighting Floyd Mayweather in his third fight.
I think it was his fourth fight. I want to say.
Oh, my fault. Sorry. Yeah, fourth fight. Okay. Yeah. That is the biggest slap in the face to boxing, to have one of the best boxers fight a YouTuber's brother. Fight? Come on.
Floyd would have been better off fighting KSI.
That's like trying to sell. That's like trying to sell. What? Michael Jordan
versus
and Lamar Odom at 18. That's what it's trying to sell. Like, come on.
Oh, jeez. What did you say about Deji like landing like one punch on him or something?
Yeah. It's Deji was saying like, I'm really proud. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, it
definitely takes some hard work.
Yeah,
but...
you stepped in the ring, but you're like, I hit him. So as all the other 50 opponents he's faced, and more times. You want a pat on the back for that? Like, come on. And even Floyd, they group up. He's like, yeah, he got me. He hit me one time.
No, he didn't. Like, Floyd was dancing during the fight.
And just because he clipped you doesn't mean
he was doing the salsa in the ring.
I would low-key be like, I know I wouldn't have beat him if I was him. I know I wouldn't have beat him. But I wouldn't have like walked away, like, and it might be kind of toxic, or it might be like a little like self-degrading, I guess. But like, I wouldn't have walked away like, oh yeah, I hit him. I'd have been like, okay, I just want the best boxer. What can I take away from this? What can I move forward with this? How can I prove myself to be a legitimate boxer?
The thing about that is like, he acts like he won when he says that. He's like, oh, yeah, I punched him once.
I punched him once.
I won.
Bro, who has Floyd fought that hasn't done that?
Even Logan Paul hit him.
So many times. Yeah. So many times. And Logan Paul
acts like he won that fight. Golly. Every time he talks about that, I can't keep my composure.
Yeah.
I can't keep my composure right now because he's on impulsive going, oh yeah, Floyd's head ducked down a little bit. First of all, he is dodging your punches.
Yeah.
First of all, that's the reason why his head's down.
Yeah.
And he's in that guard for a reason. He's like this.
Mm-hmm.
That is you dodging.
And he's Well, he's throwing wrists at him, just
Like, bro, like you
like
and like, come on,
it's-
man.
that. Those weren't punches. I mean, they were weak, lousy punches that you could easily defend because
Yeah, like they were so windmilly. He was just throwing them erratically.
Yeah.
like you weren't doing anything. There's no
Yeah.
power behind those punches. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing, man. Like
you're just
what do you mean?
momentum and just swinging. That's all you were doing.
Like,
But I still have a problem with Deji. I don't know. I think it is just a slap in the face to the boxing world for that fight to have happened. I really do.
Yeah,
And I know Floyd Money Mayweather's trying to make money.
Yeah,
I get
exactly.
it. I get it. But
what do you think KSI versus Dylan Dennis though? Now that's
I have no clue.
interesting.
I don't know.
But like
I'm-
Dennis
I'm-
isn't
I'm
even
so
a
upset.
boxer,
I'm
bro.
sorry.
Like I saw a Twitter clip today of him posting. He's like, "Oh, I'm training," and he's wrestling.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm training for KSI," and he's wrestling in the video.
I
You're not
mean,
even boxing.
But then this is the thing. I have to say KSI, even though I feel like he's just kind of, in a way, with his.
But that's impressive. He fought two guys in one night, even though they were both bums.
That was very impressive.
Even
I'll
though
give
they
him
were
that.
both bums, that is pretty cool.
I'll give him credit for
That's
that.
some next level stuff.
But I just feel like I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of corniness to him because
I am the nightmare.
but
Like,
he's
get out of here.
calling out all these people that I don't think he would. I don't know. I think it's just like a.
He's calling out Jake Paul. He's calling out Jake Paul all the time, and then he never goes and fights him. Jake's like, "Send the contract. I'll fight you for free." And KSI ducks him every time. He's like, "No, like let's fight in Wembley Stadium." First of all, you're not. Those two
No.
guys are not filling up Wembley Stadium. Let's just say that right here on the Take Podcast. They are not. Because first of all, did you see how many tickets Jake Paul did not sell for that fight? The nosebleeds were empty, man.
Yeah.
They were empty.
Imagine a KSI fight.
Yeah, that would be bad.
They can't pan the whole the whole.
But
ring,
KSI is from England, so
Yeah.
that'd be a little different. I
but they can't pan the whole camera because then they'll show the empty
Yeah, they
you know,
can't.
stands.
Yeah,
So
that's man.
it I don't know.
I think that Dylan Dennis
it's-
fight is stupid, but
I think it is stupid. I don't think it's as stupid as Deji. I'm still just not happy about that fight.
now the press conferences are very entertaining. though.
Yeah.
I will say that because Dennis talks a lot of trash.
Yeah, and I don't want people to think I'm like hating on Deji. I don't really know him that well. I watch clips of his fight. That's about it. I don't even watch his fights. But it's not that I mean, sure, everybody's got potential. Sure, he can like really work hard, get really amazing.
And
at
sure,
this.
it takes balls to get in the ring,
And
but
for sure. But I just think it was just such a slap in the face for the boxing world for the best boxer of our generation,
the best defensive boxer of all time.
the best defensive boxer to fight a guy at what 1-2, 2-1, I don't know.
I don't even know Deji's record.
But
That's how much I care about it.
it's just like, yeah, it's just like, why are we promoting this?
Like, why
this
is
a fight?
Floyd still fighting too? Like, that's
That's a
the
good
thing I
question.
don't understand.
That's a good question.
And the thing is, if you're gonna go and fight a YouTuber like that, you gotta knock him out.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, Logan Paul, he's way bigger than him. I thought he should have knocked him out, but I can see why he didn't because Logan's a big dude. I mean, Logan's not small.
It kind of kills a legacy too. It maybe not kills it, but it can really lower the legacy.
I don't think it lowers it until he loses. When he loses,
That's
that's
true.
when it starts to become a problem.
That's true, but you have to think too. How can Floyd Mayweather not knock out some of these people?
Exactly. I don't really understand that, but let's transition to another topic here.
Hit me.
Gervonta Davis, a former fighter of Floyd Mayweather's, he left his camp. Now he's kind of on his own, doing his own thing now. He's got a fight booked with Ryan Garcia for April of 2023.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, that's
Yes,
going to
sir.
be
This is the
hype.
fight we've been waiting for.
That is going to be so hype, dude.
This is the fight that I watched videos on before it was announced. I would watch, okay, who would win? I am so excited for this
That's
fight.
going to be crazy, dude.
I'm so excited.
Who are you taking?
And I think Gervonta Davis is such an amazing boxer. He is so scary. But I think Ryan's going to catch him with that left hook, bro.
Oh, my God, dude.
Dude, that thing is so quick.
That thing is nuts.
so quick.
That's like the speed of light, dude.
I would say maybe not all the way, but like it kind of reminds me of like a Mike Tyson like left hook a little bit.
A smaller version.
A smaller version, yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
No, I'm not saying he would knock out Mike Tyson or anything like that. But it reminds me a little bit of it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
it's so quick, and it's with his lead foot, so he's not like even winding up barely. I mean, he is, but like if I were to do it, I would have to kind of switch my stance and kind of get that momentum building. But with him, it's just boom, boom.
But the thing I don't like about Garcia is he's so heavy footed. He's so flat-footed. That's the one thing I wish he was kind of, because he's not bouncy during his fights. Yeah. He kind of stands pretty still.
Yeah.
Which is why I think Gervonta Davis is going to win this fight, because Gervonta, he's got some knockout power, and he's definitely going to expose Ryan's body. I think he's going to hit him with a lot of body shots, and I think he's going to knock him down a lot with body shots, because you saw against Rolly Romero, he was killing him with those body shots. He was going 1-2 downstairs and then 1-2 upstairs. And then you see Romero just fly into the ropes. That's exactly what's going to really hurt Garcia, because he doesn't protect his body well. He kind of just guarding his head more.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Garcia is a great boxer. I mean, I'm not saying he isn't, but I think Gervonta he's just a level above him.
Well, maybe he just has a little bit more tools to his disposal, and
he's quicker. Gervonta Davis is faster, in my opinion. He's a little more elusive.
On his feet. Okay.
On his feet, he's a little more faster, which I think Garcia is gonna kind of panic about a little bit.
It could be, but I think Garcia's hands are quicker.
That's not a question. I think I agree. I agree with that. I just don't. I think Gervonta. Well, think about this. Gervonta Davis has. It's like around the 80% range. I don't know the exact number. It's like 85% finish rate.
Yeah, that's impressive. Dude, that's impressive.
That's crazy.
And I'm not even that's just my prediction, but I can definitely see Gervonta winning this. I can see that. I'm not as hard pressed as the Volk fight. I know Volk's gonna win that, and you're never gonna convince me until it happens. Anyways, sorry. I love Volk, bro. I think he's gonna win.
Volk, yeah, you're a big Volk guy. I mean, I like him too, but I just don't think he's gonna win.
The last couple fights, I underestimated him, and I'm done doing that. Like I made a personal commitment to myself to never underestimate him again. But yeah, I mean, I can see Gervonta winning this too, but I think Ryan's gonna win it. But it's just one of those fights where it's two really amazing fighters who are not even peak yet.
And two very popular fighters as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like everyone in the boxing community knows who Ryan Garcia is. He's like, you've seen his TikTok clips with the body shot challenge and everything like that.
But Ryan's really put himself out there. Like he's a lot more people that don't know boxing know him, you know?
Yeah, like I didn't really watch, to be honest, like Ryan Garcia kind of got me watching boxing again a little bit before. Jake Paul kind of got me fully back into it. But Ryan Garcia was like, you'd see him on TikTok and he's doing his head movements, very fascinating to watch. Like when he does, like, what's it called? Like the little, like, it's like kind of like a little spring in the middle and then you got like a little bag. Something like that. He's like doing that with his eyes closed. I'm like,
that's hard to do.
You serious?
Yeah.
Like you can... He's been doing this since he was a child.
Yeah.
He's been boxing since he was 6 years old? Like he's been boxing since he was a little kid.
And he trains with Canelo a lot. So
yeah, he trains but he doesn't like Canelo.
For some reason. I didn't know that.
I think I remember hearing that for some reason. Maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like I heard he said he doesn't like Canelo.
I never looked up anything like that.
Which Canelo is... He's dealing with a wrist injury right now, which is taking him out for a year.
Yeah. And
he's going to take some time to recover that. He just had his last fight against Triple G, beat him again. I mean, and then he had a fight before that against Dimitri Bivol, who, by the way, like that when Canelo went into that fight, he was going up in weight. He was going up to 170 pounds to fight a guy who is a natural 170-pound champion.
Yeah.
Bivol's a really good boxer. That's the thing that people kind of underrated him was, and I underrated him as well because Canelo was a minus 500 favorite going to that fight, which is a guaranteed win to most people when you look at those odds. But you just didn't see Canelo's power really translate well when he went up to weight class.
Yeah,
and that's why there are weight classes in combat sports. That's why they are there. They are there for a reason, and you can clearly see in that Canelo fight. When Bivol was getting punched in the body, he kind of just shook it off. He's like, And Bivola's a powerful dude. Like, he had Canelo in deep, deep trouble multiple times in that fight. And they're going to rematch for sure. Canelo wants it bad. He wants that rematch bad. I think that is a bad fight for him to take right when he comes back, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you lost and, you want to obviously win because you're a competitor. But Canelo is one of the greatest fighters of our generation for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's gonna have his work cut out for him to beat a guy that's that big, that heavy. And Canelo, I mean, you saw him knock out Caleb Plant. Like, guys at his weight class, he dominates, but when he goes up, he tends to struggle a little bit more.
Yeah,
which is something I'm gonna I think Demetrio Bivol is gonna win when they do rematch. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Canelo, but
yeah, I'm not gonna pretend that I know a lot about him to predict a lot of things. I definitely watched a few of his fights. I've watched the Floyd Mayweather fight with him. I watched before Triple G. Who was that?
Well, it was Caleb Plant.
Caleb Plant.
Then, yeah.
I watched the Caleb Plant fight, and I mean, Canelo's like I've seen his videos, I've watched his clips, but I don't know too much about a lot about him in that division in total. So I don't know. I don't really know.
I mean, that division's kind of dry, to be honest. He fights nobodies.
Mm-hmm.
He handpicks, which is the thing I don't like about boxing. And the difference between UFC and boxing for me is UFC's got a guy, Dana White, who puts the best against the best. You don't have any UFC fighters picking, oh, okay, I want to fight this guy. I want to fight that guy. Boxing, you don't have that head guy to be like, this fight's going to happen.
No, you don't. But boxers do have a lot more freedom, though, with like what they can promote, what endorsements they can take, how much money they make.
Because UFC fighters have to wear a certain brand of trunks.
Yeah.
They can't wear a different brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's like, comparing it to the NFL, like Dana White's the commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
As like Roger Goodell is commissioner of the NFL. He like runs it.
Yeah.
Different sports, but same kind of thing.
Yeah.
There, and it's just very different because boxers do have, that freedom, like you said, to kind of do whatever they want. But I just don't. I wish it. That's why boxing has died so much since, like, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, all those guys that were fighting, like they were trying to fight the best of the best, and now it just seems like
now we're fighting.
All these guys are going after belts, the easiest way to get a belt,
or YouTubers. Yeah,
I mean, you're just, you're just like not like kind of doing that. And I want to touch on something real quick here.
Yeah.
So this has to do with Canelo as well. So Kamaru Usman has said he wants to fight Canelo in a boxing match. I have heard this. Yes. So
in a boxing match?
Yeah, he wants to box him because Canelo has called him out before in boxing.
Canelo's going to win that.
Yeah.
Canelo's going to win
that. What do you
that.
think? What are your takes on kind of the crossovers between UFC and boxers when they collide in a boxing ring? Because we saw it happen with Conor.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting, and it really brings two worlds together because there is that unspoken rivalry. Okay, what's better, MMA or boxing? There is that. I mean, some people like me, I don't care. It's I love both sports. In a lot of ways, I like MMA just a little bit more, so I know a little bit more about MMA. But it is cool seeing these crossovers. But the thing is, I don't know how fair it is in some aspects. For instance, it's not going to be fair for Kamaru Usman. Just like if Canelo was fighting him MMA style. Psh, are you kidding me? That would be that wouldn't last a minute.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, you see UFC guys go into the boxing ring, but you don't ever see boxers go into the octagon. Ever.
No, but I think it's understandable too because a lot of these MMA fighters, they are training in boxing, but they just have to throw in a lot of other stuff too. Whereas if a boxer were to do MMA, they would have to learn from the beginning.
Exactly.
So
yeah, because they got to learn jiu-jitsu. They got to learn,
takedown defense,
kicks and all this stuff. Like, there's just a lot more to it. Yeah, there is. Because boxing, you're just throwing hands. I mean, that's all you're really doing. But I mean, the thing is, when Mayweather and McGregor fought, you would think there'd be disadvantages, but and the thing is, I remember this. Max Kellerman said he's not going to throw a single punch on Floyd Mayweather. Not one punch. First of all, that's absurd. You're talking about a guy who is pretty much just a boxer in an octagon.
Mm-hmm.
McGregor does nothing else, really. Besides kicking is
Kicks.
a good part, but
Yeah.
boxing is his primary source of offense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something you can't sit there and say he won't land one punch. I mean, come on, these guys are fighters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like you're fighting. It's just it doesn't make sense to me why you would say that about somebody.
Yeah.
Because like MMA, I get it. They've got to learn a bunch of different things, but like you said, boxing, they do practice it all the time.
They do. It's part of the it's part of the game. So
And those fights are big time money too.
Yeah.
Like that's why they make them.
But at the same time, too, it's not, and it depends on the fighting style, too, for MMA, but it's not as big as a focus because you have to focus on other things. Keep in mind, though, too, 14-ounce gloves, 12-ounce gloves, that gets heavy after a while. And that's something that MMA fighters don't experience. So there is a disadvantage for the MMA fighter, too.
Because you got to be more conditioned for, more rounds. Because UFC, you got shorter length of rounds.
Yeah.
You got less of them.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when that world does collide. Though.
It is.
One more thing. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou in the boxing ring. What do you think of that? Because they were talking about that a little bit towards the end of Tyson's last fight in April.
I don't know if it's going to happen, though.
I don't know if it would, but I would love to see it happen. That'd be crazy.
That
dude.
would be crazy.
Imagine Ngannou in the boxing ring. And he said he wants to box. And he said he does want to fight Fury.
I'm going to say Fury, but I don't know.
It
I
is
really
boxing,
It is
like
boxing.
I mean, it's just so different.
And I think, and just like kind of hitting on what you said earlier, Tyson is very light on his feet. Francis, he's kind of, but not as light as Tyson.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting. And, Tyson Fury, he's fighting a bum next fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fighting a nobody. Like, he should be fighting Usyk, who has 3 belts in his weight class. I don't know why he's not going after that. Because why would you just want one heavyweight championship belt?
You got to, go keep on going,
Yeah, like, if you're the greatest of all time, like you say you are, go after the WBO. Go after the IBF. Go after the WBA.
Mm-hmm.
Go after every single belt you can. And Usyk's a boring fighter, and he's not good, and he's small. He's 6'3", like 260 pounds. Tyson Fury is 6'8". He's got way better reach on him. He just got so much of an advantage. That'd be an easy fight for him. He could be the king of the heavyweight division for real.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he isn't now because he is the Gypsy King, but
The Gypsy King.
Gypsy King.
The Gypsy King.
But you got to go after that.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. I feel like if you're hungry, you go for it. And maybe he's just not hungry anymore. But he is getting older. So
I'm surprised he unretired.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought he was done.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why he did come back. I feel like he just, he still wants to keep going. That's a part of his life. I feel like with all
It's
these
the family.
fighters and, that's a part of their life for so long. And it's just, really hard to let go of it.
Yeah.
And especially when you're Tyson Fury, where, physically your body's not kind of giving up on you yet.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just like, why am I taking a step back?
Yeah.
But it's different. Khabib, he did it a little bit differently. His body was not giving up on him, but he just pulled away because he had no other reason for him to fight.
That's the best way to end it, though.
Yeah.
That's the best way to end it. Yeah.
But let's go ahead and end the pod here.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you
I
again
really
for having
appreciate
me.
it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you hopping on once again.
Thank you so much.
This was very fun. But I'm Jackson Burleson. This is Jeremiah Kincaid. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment, and share it with everybody. Share this thing worldwide, baby. And then follow my social medias. Once again, I'm going to pop up on the screen. They're going to be in the description. And then the audio-only version will be available on Spotify. So go ahead and hit the link in the description for that. But this is going ahead and do it for the Take Podcast. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you again.
Is not in her.